That Xbox event is on Thursday, bright and early, 9 a.m. Pacific. So there's, perhaps not surprisingly, a whole bunch of stuff coming out of the Xbox camp. The big one is, I think, that they put up a new blog post that's kind of a bunch of like, here's how you are the future of gaming. Like, it's a lot of very flowery, Phil Spencer-esque language. They're very good at this kind of high-minded rhetoric, I think. Which is to say that 90% of it is stuff we already knew about. But the one big thing they drop in there at the end is an actual announcement, which is that come September, Project xCloud will be rolling into Game Pass Ultimate for free. I guess that's going to be the proper actual launch of xCloud. I don't know if they'll slap some nice pithy actual name on that before then, or if they're just going to keep going with xCloud.
Or if they're increasing the price of Ultimate.
No. They say in here that no additional cost. So
cool.
As of September, if you've got Game Pass, what is Game Pass Ultimate's? What, $15 a month? I think
$15 a month.
Yes. Yeah. So, and that's already got live gold in it, right, along with all the Game Pass stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, like I don't know about you guys, but to me it seems like this seemed inevitable that they were building up to this kind of all-inclusive service, right? They just want to get you paying one fee a month for everything they've got going on, but like this is totally the right call to me.
How upset do you think Google Stadia folks are right now?
I think both of them are pretty pissed.
I think they're used to disappointment, so that's fine.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is fucking kind of huge, like Game Pass is like already arguably the best deal in this kind of service.
Right.
And also you kind of have to have live gold if you want to have an Xbox, so that's already built in.
And the thing that they're saying about how, like, every Microsoft Game Studio game is a day one Game Pass game from now on is like really good to hear.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. You tie this to Halo Infinite, and I mean, that's a easy proposition to get on board with.
Totally.
And then with the talk about how they want to maintain, presence of Xbox One games into the new generation with stuff like Sea of Thieves. It's just every day Game Pass seems to get a better and better proposition.
Totally. I mean, they also, like, one of the other stories this week, they are kind of forcing people's hands a little bit. They have quietly discontinued the 12-month Xbox Live Gold subscription, which was like the only you could get 1 and 3 month chunks if you wanted, but like if you were going to keep it all the time, that was by far the cheapest way to get it, and you suddenly can't do that anymore.
I think like the other thing that Microsoft is really savvy about is putting their services on discounts, especially like stuff like Game Pass. Because remember a little while back where they did that thing where if you're a new customer, you could get it for like $1.
Yeah, that was
ridiculous. $1.
Like you could convert if you had time built up. I'd totally.
Yeah, I mean, I did that. I've got like Game Pass and Xbox Live for the next like 5-6 years.
Totally, because I think it actually if you had Game Pass and Live, they actually for the buck they made them sequential. So they give you the time for one and then the time for the other. So
yeah, the bizarre thing about that was initially everyone reported it and circulated it as do this quickly before Microsoft realizes,
right.
And then
it's a pricing error or something. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's what it seemed like. And then a few minutes later, it was tweets going out being like, "Hey, you can do this" from the official Microsoft accounts, and it was "Oh, you guys know exactly what you're doing."
I mean, they're in full on giant corporation loss leader territory, right? Of just we're just going to eat a bunch of money on this stuff up front to get people signed into the ecosystem and then never let them out. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of a bummer you can't get the cheap live gold anymore, but on the other hand, if you're in for that anyway, it seems like a no-brainer to just get the good one that's got everything. I mean, 15 a month is Netflix is practically there at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Netflix is 12 a month now or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It keeps going up every goddamn month. I swear.
Yeah. But get all the first party releases day one and all the other stuff that comes along with Game Pass and be able to play it on any device anywhere pretty much. Seems like kind of a no-brainer. Last I checked, they still don't have iOS support in the preview program for xCloud, unless I've missed something. So I would certainly hope that they get that working before September. But that remains to be seen. I just caught this right before the show. I didn't send it to you guys, but an interview ran in, I saw this on gamesindustry.biz. I guess this was an interview that Phil Spencer did with GameStar, where he kind of quietly walked back the idea of getting like Game Pass onto Switch and stuff like that, onto other platforms, like competitors' platforms specifically. Like I know that was like a hardcore rumor that was going around for a long time of like they're doing it, you're going to be able to stream Xbox games to your Switch, like it's happening, but like he kind of made it sound like some of the partners that they would have potentially worked with, without naming any names, kind of weren't super into it. So
I think that's the one thing where like it starts to become a bit weird with the lines blurring, where people are like contractual obligations and licensing and that kind of stuff at a certain point. I think this is a situation where everyone realizes this is a ridiculous thing to attempt, and instead of just being like, this is crazy, we cannot do this, they're just being like, oh, Summer, we've just had some roadblocks, so we're gonna go back to the table with this.
The answer when that conundrum presents itself, though, is to always press forward. It's like, this is too crazy to do, so we have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they were going to deal with like the trigger issue on the Switch. There are some just basic compatibilities kind of things there where like they don't have analog triggers on a Switch. So what do you do with like a Forza and stuff like that? But it's still kind of a bummer. The actual quote
Go as
is
fast as possible all the time.
All right. Yeah. The quote is, the thing about other gaming console platforms is we're not able to bring a full Xbox experience on those platforms. And the other competitive platforms aren't really that interested in having a full Xbox experience on their hardware. So sounds like that stuff is probably not going to happen anytime soon.
This is Steam on PS3 all over again, isn't it?
It's a beautiful dream, but I get it. They have, let's see, I'm not sure where this news came out of. I believe The Verge ran this first. They have ceased production on the Xbox One X. And the all digital edition of the Xbox One S, if you believe that's a real thing. But they are straight up not making those boxes anymore. I guess they're probably just going to like sell through what's there.
Which is funny because part of that like UR Xbox thing was very much like, if you have the old one, the launch of the new one's going to support all those old ones for a while.
We're not going to leave you behind, man.
Yes. So the next generation starts when you want it to. They are the one exception is the disk drive version of the Xbox One S will continue to be manufactured and sold. So that's still going to be out there. I could see. Here's my bet: they're going to keep making the One S through like into the next generation and drop that thing to like a $99.
Yeah,
$99,
somewhere around there. Maybe a $150. Because like if you look at like what are the rumors about the PS5 and the Series X are like what $500-$600 probably is what everybody seems to think. If this Lockhart console comes along like it's rumored to, that's probably your like what $300-ish tier, something like that. And then if you keep the Xbox One S going at like $100 or whatever, and people can buy that, you can stream Series X quality games over xCloud as long as you're paying the $15 a month. That's like covering that's basically covering like the full spectrum of console price points, right?
That's a really affordable plan too, especially if you missed Xbox on this generation. Like you have access to all those Game Pass games, and that's a really good value proposition.
Yeah, they seem to be trying to cover all of their bases. So yeah, kind of a lot of stuff going on the Xbox business end. Aaron Greenberg got out there on Twitter though about the Thursday event. Try to manage expectations a little bit for what we're going to see.
Bakugan.
What is Bakugan?
Don't get my hopes up.
What is Bakugan?
Everyone was mad about the Nintendo Direct because it was Bakugan and not Metroid.
All right, we'll get to that.
It's like Beyblades but balls.
Yeah.
Not really demystifying the situation anymore. I'm sorry. Greenberg was out there on Twitter. He said, seen some wild expectations, talking about the showcase on Thursday. So if helpful, this show has one focus: games. No business, devices, or similar news, just games. A whole show about an hour long focused on games.
And that's what they need, aside from the price and the release date, right? Like those are the only other two things, but they need games.
Which are huge.
Yeah, I mean, like especially
that we need.
Think back
yes, we do need those. But
yeah, definitely. But like think back to that May event and like what they've got out there so far compared to what Sony did. It's like there's not.
God, was that May?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes, I know it feels like it was last year, but
yeah, definitely. That's Sony press conference that like came out real hot. Like everything I was like pretty excited for, even like the games that may not be up my alley. Just seeing stuff in action.
yeah, and like no offense to anybody who exhibited during that Xbox stream, but I think back on that thing and like I can't remember much of what they showed. Like,
I remember wall genitals.
Yes, wall dongs is like the first thing that comes to mind. That definitely stood out. But yeah, that's all I got. So, any predictions for this thing?
I want to see Platinum's new thing.
Games.
I think we might get a Viva Pinata.
Oh, dude, don't say that.
We should get what? Well, no, Rare already announced.
Yeah, they've got.
Game, right?
I apologies to Rare. I can never remember the new game that they're making.
We're gonna see Halo.
Elder
for sure.
Wild, I think it's called.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe no Viva Pinata.
Yeah.
Halo Infinite for sure.
Yeah.
I want to see Platinum. I would love to see Elden Ring.
Yeah, okay. Like they announced Elden Ring at a Microsoft conference. I don't know if I think that was last year, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, I could see that being something they tried to rope in for this.
And
I would
probably
be
a new
very
Fusion
surprised if a Elden Ring showed up.
Really?
Yeah,
You sound like you have some.
It's
Informed-
purely my my spider sense
Your
for From
informed
Software.
speculation.
Well, like I just feels like it's not right now. Like I'm thinking about back to Sekiro and how long it was between they showing that off and actually showing it off, and it was so long. And I think there has been some scuttlebutt on Twitter today with people saying, "Nah, Elden Ring's not going to be there." And I saw that and I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense." I feel like it's sometime. I hope it shows up because I'm desperate to see that. But you know how George R.R. Martin is with being timely.
Sure, he's got fantasy football to deal with, right? Like, priorities.
Do you think they'd show off like maybe a remastered collection of older Microsoft games?
I don't know. Like the way they're leaning into backwards compatibility, like that's mentioned in that blog post. It's like, you can play 4 generations of Xbox games on this one console. Like that kind of. I think that's how they're hitting the nostalgia for that old stuff. I mean, there's those Perfect Dark rumors hanging around, which. More power to you, I guess, if you want to go that route. Do you guys have any sense, Tam? I don't know if you've heard anything. Like, is there even supposed to be third-party stuff at this thing, or is this full on just Microsoft stuff?
I think they said they wanted to focus mainly on their own stuff.
Yeah,
but
because the last one was the third party.
Right.
Yeah.
One.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, like there's who knows, like partnership stuff. It could be like a product or a franchise that is theirs that some a third party is developing. But I expect it's not going to be a lot of that. There's that Fable game that is supposed to be in development.
It's like all but confirmed at this point, it seems like.
Yeah. So maybe that shows up. I think the one that people are really hoping for is the Initiative's Perfect Dark game, but that's still a rumor and would be far too early considering where the timeline of it.
That's the Santa Monica studio, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So that studio's only been around for like a year and change, right?
Yeah. So, but they're rumored to be working on a Perfect Dark reboot. I think Halo is the big thing for this. Like,
yeah, man. I wonder how much pressure 343 is feeling about this. It feels like all the hopes and dreams of the next Xbox are riding on this one game right now.
Did you see the kind of like reports today where it was like Halo Infinite has grappling hooks and like it sounds like a wild thing.
Why not just a jetpack? That dude's in a robot suit.
Grappling hooks are way cooler. Every game has a
You could get like
old jetpack.
2 of them.
Maybe it's a robot grappling hook.
I'm really interested to see what that is because we've got Phil Spencer talking about it's going to be formatted differently and it's going to be more like the Master Chief Collection and it's going to be different. And then at the same time, there's the expectation that it's going to be more like persistent, so Destiny-like.
Yeah.
But also like everyone's making a battle royale now. What is that thing going to be? How do they give it some sort of permanence?
I don't think they fall for the battle royale trap.
I think they 100% fall for that trap.
Well, I think they might have a mode in there that doesn't get much support, but like, I mean, I guess Ubisoft just put out a battle royale, but like
100 Spartans jumping out of a Pelican. Let's roll.
That'd be
I think
fun.
they'd have to have it. They would probably, I hope at least, have a unique enough take on it that it's not just it's Halo, but it plays like, or it's a battle royale, but it plays like Halo.
I think like as like a side
all
mode,
they need, man.
like you're saying, as like a side mode, just as part of the multiplayer, that's totally fine. If that's like the core of the game, though, like I
don't think it's going to be the core.
Okay.
I think for Microsoft's own sake and for Xbox's own sake, this needs to be a focused, narrative-driven first-person shooter with a campaign that has Master Chef in the main leading role. That's what they kind of need to do, kind of to drag that franchise back up. And it's been like Halo 5 was big, little, whatever, and like they need to restore some of the gleam to that jewel.
Do you think is it like even a given that you play as Master Chief in this game? Like I don't know where I've gotten this idea that this is going to be like a more open, I don't know, maybe not quite exploration focused, but a little bit more of like maybe it's all the comparisons to Destiny or whatever. But I almost I almost wonder if it starts with like a character creator and you're just like,
oh no, I don't.
I feel
think
like I don't know. I feel like they tried that with Locke and all the other lads, and it did not go down well. I think the last few Halo games have been a kind of lesson to 343 and Xbox that people really care about Master Chief. Like surprisingly, like maybe I don't know why they didn't already know and believe that, but like I kind of, the thing is like I love the idea of like fighting alongside the legend, because Metal Gear Solid 2, like everyone hated Raiden, but I was like, you're missing the point. You get to fight alongside Snake, and it shows you how badass he is from another perspective. I love that kind of narrative framing device, and I would love to see them do that with Master Chief, so you get to really see why he is who he is. But I feel like most people are like, no, I want to be the Green Power Ranger. Let me be the Green Power Ranger.
Wait, is the green one the special one?
Yeah, he's a special one.
Tommy's the best one.
He's also
We
the
all
white
know
one.
this. He's also, yeah.
Oh boy, I'm
In
totally
an alternate universe, he goes evil.
Yeah.
I super get where you're coming from. Like I've always loved the type of story, especially in like MMOs and stuff like that, where you feel like you're just sort of like a tiny cog in a much larger whole, as opposed to like even Destiny did this. Like early on, you were just like, I'm just over here doing these missions, and then like at some point you're like, you are the Guardian, like you're the legendary savior of everything, right? Like I feel like storytelling gets
a lot of pressure.
It gets really dull when it pivots to that like you're the chosen one kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know if I guess they're kind of like locked into the Master Chief story at this point to some extent.
Also, like not to annoy a lot of the Halo fans out there, but like I think the problem they face is like Master Chief is just a blank slate. Like he is for the longest time, like I love Master Chief. I'm gonna say that outright. I think he's an iconic character, and I think he is like, I enjoy my time with him. My man is hella boring as a character. Like he is the driest character. And on the one hand, they can treat that as like, we got nothing to work with here. But I hope they take it as we've got a lot of opportunity here now. Like, let's try and do something with him. Like they started that with the Cortana stuff, and he started to show a little more like, kind of a relationship with her, but they didn't really commit to it. I want them to be like Master Chief discovers his humanity and is like trying to figure who he is, instead of being like tall man who says one or two lines that is, there will be a sequel.
Sure.
20 minutes into the start of the game, he just takes off the armor and he just walks around with a gun.
They like
he's playing Song of Bloom.
They started skirting that kind of territory. Was at the end of 4 where they take the helmet off, like from the back, you see like the back of his head. I think it was 4, wasn't it?
There's one. Yeah, I think it is 4. Yeah,
there's like a split second shot at the like last second of the game, like the helmet comes off and you see it's like, oh shit, that dude's bald. But like the idea of pulling the Master Chief's helmet off was like mind blowing, and then they kind of did nothing with that,
They should pull it off, and it's a blonde lady, and holy shit, it's Samus. Oh my god, they've done Metroid.
Shit.
I hope it's like a Power Rangers Turbo situation where this whole time he's been a little boy.
Listen, I just had an amazing idea. What if Halo Infinite was basically Metroid Prime? Like you're on this planet, you've got Master Chief, you're going to different biomes, solving puzzles, shooting Covenant, and then unlocking new abilities. Make Halo a Metroidvania.
Master Chief turns into a ball this time around.
I could get into that, sure. Like just a giant open world Halo.
Yeah.
So you can walk the entire Halo from end to end without stopping.
We don't need more giant open world games.
Look straight up. You see that other end of the Halo. You could walk there.
Oh yeah, no, and that's good. Let's go full Breath of the Wild. Let's make it so you can't actually go there, depending on the weather, and all of his guns break as soon as you start using them.
I want to see Master Chief jump off a cliff and pull out a little friggin' cloth and like float down.
Hey, he did have that cloak in that one teaser. Remember in the desert,
he
he had
did.
the cloak on. Where did that go?
Yes, use it as a parachute.
I hope that game's cool. Like Halo 5 is fine. Like it's not a bad game. It was just like it was not enough.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
I
think this is make or break for Halo.
Totally.
Personally.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was getting at. Like they've got to be feeling the pressure, right? Because you can't just make another Halo game at this point.
No.
So yeah, that's popping off 9 a.m. Thursday morning.
Thursday.
Yes,
Yeah.
we will be there to talk upon it as it happens. So
About the games.
yes, stay tuned for that. I'm excited to see what they got.